My brother has always been very possessive of me in the past. It was something I just learned to get over, and I live my life. My current boyfriend is my first boyfriend, and we've been dating for 9 months. During this time, we've been intimate a couple of times, but he would always leave right after. Yesterday, we cuddled, and we fell asleep forgetting that he had to go home. My boyfriend shook me awake, and there was hair all over the pillows and blankets. He told me that someone cut my hair, and when I saw the mirror, I legit screamed. My hair, that once reached my lower back, was hacked to about my shoulder length. I looked like I just got attacked by a lawnmower. My parents came in the room because I screamed, and they were greeted by my half-naked boyfriend, my half-naked and screaming self, and they both freaked out. My dad initially thought it was my boyfriend who did it, and he said he didn't. My dad didn't believe him, and they started getting in a fight. Basically, my dad being angry and my boyfriend being defensive. My mom was telling me it could be recovered, and that I didn't look that bad. Throughout this time, my brother was by my door, and my dad looked at him and asked if he knew anything. My brother said that I was AW for sleeping with my boyfriend, and that I deserved to be cut. My dad figured out that it was my brother who did it, and dragged him to another room. My boyfriend and my mom was telling me I still looked beautiful, and I was in hysterics. My mom told my boyfriend to go home, and she helped me tidy my room and try to fix my hair a little bit. During lunch, my mom and dad brought my brother out, and he apologized for what he did. But he sounded like me sleeping consensually with my boyfriend was worse than him non-consensually cutting my hair off. And he said some things that sounded like an apology, but was technically an insult. My mom and dad are pressuring me to forgive him, and aside from my boyfriend, everyone is calling me vain, sensitive, a crybaby, a W. In a way, agreeing with my brother or telling me to get over it. It's just your hair. Am I being too sensitive? I resent my brother. How do I cope with everyone hating me? He assaulted you. He initiated unwanted physical contact. Given it was cutting your hair, and that is something that has a lot of emotional value, did so with the expressed intent of making you feel bad about yourself and unsafe to be yourself. I want you to maintain that. Cutting hair isn't about just ruining how you look. It is about making you conscious of what else he could have done. You will now feel unsafe in your own home. Make that clear to your parents. It doesn't matter if you forgive him. That won't make it any easier to deal with the reality you have a brother willing to assault you because he is emotionally disturbed. And by putting the focus on you, they are just enabling him. Don't let people paint the narrative this is about hair. Because, let's be real, he is being told it is okay to punish you for having S. That is a path to genuine harm on you and utter derangement for him. It's insane that your brother is obsessed enough with you that he feels like he has the right to punish you for sleeping with your boyfriend. I'd honestly be concerned about his attachment to you and what he might do in order to continue punishing you, and I don't understand why no one else in your family is concerned. Is there another adult you can call? My now ex-boyfriend and I have been together for a little over 3 years. He is well off with money, and I live paycheck to paycheck. For Christmas, he insisted he didn't want anything for Christmas. No gym clothes, no shoes, nothing. I've asked him multiple times to just name a few things, since getting him nothing wasn't an option, but he refused. I gave him a couple of ideas of things I wanted, some of which included to just spend time with me. Anyways, we live separately. I remembered him always complaining about his pans being sticky and always burning his eggs. I got him a very nice pan set for Black Friday, $80. I was so excited to gift this pan set to him. I talked about it all the time. I talked about how it was a thoughtful gift and how he would use it every day. He usually cooks eggs every day, but that's about it. The last time I bought him gym shorts, he hated them and exchanged them. I didn't want to go through that again, so I originally wasn't going to get him anything else. He was telling me about a black and green American flag shirt of a particular brand that he really wanted, but was sold out, and that he checked 2 stores. A few days later, I went and found a black shirt with a black and green American flag of that brand. I was really excited because he couldn't find it, and I found it. Today, he came over to open his gifts. He gave me a nice set of earrings. He opened his pan set and looked obviously uninterested. I would even say he looked disgusted. He said, in front of my mom, "I don't even cook." He opened the shirt and nodded and said, "Nice," which isn't a usual reaction of his. So I knew he hated both gifts. He was at my house for all of 5 minutes before leaving without a hug or kiss. A few hours go by and I haven't heard from him. I wasn't going to reach out because I was upset at his less than enthusiastic reaction to both gifts. When I finally reach out, he texted me, "Can't believe I got him a pan set," laughing emoji. He told his friends I got him a pan set, and they laughed. This is the worst gift he's ever gotten. It was a slap in the face to give him a pants set. The shirt I got him was wrong, and he hates green. I would have been better off not gifting him anything. I know him so well, but I give him a pants set, not gym clothes. Obviously, this makes me break out into tears. Against my better judgment, I went to his house and retrieved the gifts and got my house key from him. When I got home, I put the gift he got me, earrings, and his house key on the porch and sent him a pic, but he's blocked me. Now I've blocked him. This is it for me. I feel like I've been so brainwashed by this man that now I am actually doubting myself. I mean, a pants set isn't an exciting gift, and maybe I should have just gotten him gym clothes. How do I deal with this? Holy crap. You run, and you run fast. And a consolation prize. That pants set is going to bring you so much more satisfaction than that man baby probably ever did. I promise. He's a total a-hole. Keep his number blocked. In an adult relationship, that is not how people deal with gifts they don't like. He could have politely thanked you and let you know that while he liked the thought you put behind the gift, he would like to exchange the shirt or pants for gym clothes. He showed you who he is. Believe him and run. I am really allergic to fur, dust, perfume, pollens, etc. I will have asthmatic attacks when a place is too dusty, and I have inhaler all of the time with me. I have purifiers in my house, dust filters at my windows, etc. I really have a hard time if I need to go to a Sephora. I just can't. I am 26 years old, by the way. We have started to date with my girlfriend 4 months ago, and I would always have some kind of itchy throat when we met, but I always thought it was because of her people's perfume, or the other animals are around. Also, pollens were in the season, so I did not think about that much until last week. I went to my girlfriend's house for the first time. She has 4 cats. In a minute, I had an asthmatic attack, and it was really severe. I could have stabilized with oxygen mask. After that, my girlfriend and I just had a little chat until today on text, me saying that I have to rest, so let's talk later, and she is saying okay. Yesterday I called her and told her about the situation that I am extremely airborne allergic. I have an inhaler all the time, and I also take anti-asthmatic medication daily. I told her firmly that we can't date if you stay with your cats, and I will understand it. She then first laughed and said, "Oh, you are serious." She started to go on a full burst of attack that allergies aren't real. I was raised as a city kid who does not know anything and stayed in my bubble. I was utterly on shock, and then she said, "I just pity you," and closed the call. After that, she blocked me on every social media. After 30 minutes, her brother called me to start a rant, and after I explained him the situation, he told me I could have compromised, that she would have clean clothes. After 30 minutes, her brother called me to start a rant, and after I explained him the situation, he told me I could have compromised, that she would have clean clothes, or they would only meet at my house, etc. He told that she was crying hysterically at his couch. I said, "I do not care. I do not want to die. Do not call me again. Goodbye," and blocked him on my phone. This morning, I talked with my dad, my mom, and my sister, and they all say I have overreacted. They said I could have made some arrangements, but for me, this is unacceptable. If it would go more seriously, there would definitely be problems. Then my sister said, "I understand why you are always single. You act like a whiny little baby. Grow up." And then they closed the call. I am not in the best terms with my sister, but normally we are fine. I was the more needy kid. She was more independent. She is 8 years older than me. My friends were kinder, but they have given the same message. I think I did the right thing, but everybody thinks I am acting like a baby or a grumpy old man. I need some insight. No one has an obligation to date anyone. You're 4 months in. That's still early. Early enough to walk away. I hate people who say allergies aren't real. I see people who are in danger of dying from asthma attacks regularly. They are no joke. If you are having attacks, you need to stay away from your triggers, no matter who shames you for it. Anyone who doesn't take this seriously, serious as life and death, should be blocked, deleted, ignored. This girl was not right for you, and I would stay away from people who think that you are the unreasonable one. You can't reason with people who are unreasonable. There is no argument that can cure willful ignorance. To start, me and my brother had a rough childhood. My dad had to sell metal and plastic bottles off the street to the junkyard, just so he could buy me and my brother milk. In short, we were poor. But when I was 5, my dad was able to go and work abroad and was able to earn a stable income. But that only lasted for 5 years because he and a few other workers were terminated. Using our life savings, we moved to my dad's hometown and started from scratch. We all lived in one room, which had a fridge, TV, and a bunk bed. My current bedroom is bigger than the small room we used to live in, so it was tiny. Using the last bit of our savings, my dad started a business. This said business boomed, and in a span of 2 years, we were able to get out of that tiny room and was able to buy a lot of land, which we then started to build a house on. The business started to expand more, which meant more money. When my dad's family found out we had a crap ton of money, they started to ask for it, to the point where my dad now has a family nickname, which is Mr. Financer. He finances everything and everyone. My dad paid for birthday parties and campaigns and the like. My dad's sister has a gambling addiction, and her husband has a stable job and income. But when the money her husband had given her had ran out because she gambled it away, she runs to my dad and asked for a large amount of money. Sometimes my dad would give her the money because she would make up lies, such as somebody's birthday is coming up and she doesn't have money to buy them a gift, or she needs money for groceries or for some gas. But instead, she gambles the money away. When my dad found out, he told her that he would never give her money again, not unless she gets rid of her gambling addiction. When she heard this, she threw a tantrum and did something so stupid it landed her in ICU. While she was in the ICU, she blamed my dad and said that he should never show his face to her again, or she might actually die. Because she was in the ICU, the hospital bills were expensive AF, and no one else could pay for it but my dad. So my grandma called my dad and begged him to pay for her hospital bills. My dad originally said no, but my mom, whom everyone in the dad's side hate, convinced him to agree, and so they paid for my auntie's hospital bills and medication. When she left, she never said thank you, not even through a text or call. My dad's older brother's son, my cousins, are both D addicts and have been to jail and rehab. My dad paid for both their bail and their rehab. After they got out of rehab, they now work for us since they're high school dropouts. They work poorly and they don't respect any of the other workers. Like, they think just because they are family of the owners does not mean they can disrespect the employees. Now to my mom's side of the family. My mom's brother is an alcoholic and has been to rehab 3 times. We paid for every single one. We paid for his psychiatrist visits and such. Because of his in and out of rehab, my uncle can't provide for my auntie and his daughter, my cousin. And without income, they can't pay finish, fully paying for their house, which my mom had to do. The thing with my mom's side of the family is the moment they get a hold of money, they don't save it. No, they spend it instantly, especially my aunt, who spends the money to help her keep up with her luxurious image. Whenever I get a new expensive bag or new clothes as birthday gifts or Christmas gifts, she wants to get my cousin the same thing. And who does she expect to pay for those gifts? My mom, and sometimes me. She would say that, "Aren't you sorry for your cousin? All she has are fake designer bags," etc. Like, is that really a crisis to have fake bags? When it was my dad's birthday, we bought him his dream luxury car. And when said auntie and uncle found out, they told us they were planning on buying a new car too. Now my parents, especially my mom, felt sorry for their situation. The feeling of wanting to buy something you can't, which my mom said she felt all the time back when we were poor and starving. So what she did was offer to buy them a brand new Ford Everest, which is a good family car, because that's what they wanted. But instead of being happy for the offer, they asked for a more expensive car. Now, my parents were shocked to hear this, because they said that because we just bought a brand new luxury car, it would mean we had a lot of money, and enough to buy them a better car. The only reason we were able to buy the car was because my dad actually saved for it. Even with all this money coming in, my dad doesn't like spending it. Not even for me and my brother's phones, which are always hand-me-downs. So my dad told them that if they didn't want the car, the money we'll be using for it will instead go to my dad's aunt. My auntie sounded disappointed and said that they'll think about it first. They never told us their plans, and we waited for 3 months before we finally gave it to my dad's auntie, who actually needed the money. Now, fast forward to a few years later. I was turning 3 months from 18, and instead of having a debut, I was just gonna have a sleepover with my friends at a nice hotel in the city. But 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, my mom decided she wanted to throw me a debut. Now, for the birthday celebrant, we are traditionally supposed to have 2 gowns, a ball gown and a nightgown, and only the debutante is wearing the gown. When I invited my auntie and cousin, my auntie wanted my cousin to wear a gown too, to my debut, which was weird, but my auntie said it was because she didn't have money to throw my cousin a debut. We had a 6-month gap. I was the older one between me and my cousin. She kept begging and begging to have a gown made for my cousin too. My mom was so mad that she told my aunt if my cousin showed up in a gown, she will be kicked from the party. And so my cousin just came in a formal dress. But during my party, my mom had hired the most sought-out coordinator in the city, since a classmate of mine had him as a coordinator. My auntie approached said coordinator and asked if he could coordinate my cousin's debut. Coordinator agreed, and when asked about who will be paying, My auntie had said that my family will be paying. Now, imagine the shock my mom showed when she was told the news. So, what my mom did was she told my auntie that she will be cutting everything. My mom will no longer be paying for my cousin's school fees. She will no longer be paying for my uncle's rehab and their new house. She told my auntie that if she wanted money, she would need to find a long-lasting job. My mom has no longer spoke with my cousin for the last 6 months now and feels very guilty. My parents no longer own social media, ever since we started earning money. And me and my brother's social media are monitored, and our posts about vacations, countries we visited, are limited. Me and my brother would have to be driven to and picked up by my dad so that my family members in public would not approach us, and so nothing bad would happen to us. For growing up so poor, your parents aren't very smart with their money. I can't believe they agreed to pay for anything. They need to shut that down immediately. If they say yes to anything, that only opens the door for them to be asked for more. If they know someone has an issue with spending money or an addiction to anything, they shouldn't be giving money to that person, no matter what. I hope your parents are able to resolve this legally, and it's definitely best to go no contact with anybody who asks for money.